What's up, everybody? I'm sorry. I guess I really never thought I'd be making a video like this, but sometimes your mistakes haunt you, and I guess this is me facing that head on. For the past couple months I haven't made any videos, and I really wasn't sure how soon I would be making another one, but sometimes I guess the video just comes to you. It's just that something happened in my life recently that I really could not talk about, and I just needed to apologize. Just this past week I went to the public library, and I was just trying to support, but I just ended up finding myself looking at this book and judging it by its cover, which, you know, I'm always told not to, but look at it. It's not great, and I really thought it was something way different than it was, but maybe it's something I'm interested in. And I spent so much time judging this book by its cover that I had been taking away from myself and taking away from that author. Lessons in Chemistry. This book was incredibly popular, particularly among book club goers. I had not read it because I really thought it was just some romantic comedy of a book. I thought it was set in maybe 2014. I really thought we were going to be talking about like BuzzFeed era feminism. I looked at this cover and I thought, there's no way that's something I'd want to read. So I'm here to just say, I'm sorry if that offended you. I did judge a book by its cover, and I can't really go back on that in any way but to admit that to you. So that's what I'm here to do. There's a lot about this book that I would have missed out on if I had just stopped there and continued to judge it by its cover. I'm sorry. Well, I hope my apologies were taken to heart. I hope that you understand that that was something that was really impacting me, and I was doing it for me, but also for you. And now I'm doing this selfishly. This next part is selfish. This is just why I loved the book and why I think it deserved so much better for a cover. It has other covers, I know that. We'll talk about that also. The story of this book, this is a book about a 1950s chemist. I thought maybe it was like some chemistry tutor and that was the cute vibes that we were going for. I don't know why Love and Gelato is coming to mind. Maybe I should actually read that and figure out what that's about too. Maybe I'm canceling myself because I just keep judging books from their covers. But I was assuming this was mostly focused on romance. It's not. It frankly isn't. It's mostly focused on this woman being a chemist and the struggles of that, and also, spoiler alert, losing a partner and being a single mother and all of these interesting topics that are not even hinted at from this cover. Which reminds me that this book also doesn't address time, okay? If you were to tell me that something with this cover took place at the same time as the movie musical Hairspray, let that sink in. This is inspired by the same time as the movie musical Hairspray. The late 50s is such an interesting time to take from a graphic design standpoint, where you could so easily and so obviously show those influences, and there's just not a single drop of era influence. You would not know what era this book takes place until you read the synopsis. Sorry, I don't read every synopsis in a bookstore or a library. Sometimes I just need a quick little book. That's a me problem, that's why I did the apology video, but I do like the book and I wish it had a better cover. Actually, it does have a better cover. And I want to talk about that too. Because there are quite a few covers of this book now that it's been out for a longer time. But there's a cover that I love that's red. It's got elements of 1960 design, even down to her dress. And I love that she's holding a briefcase in this cover that looks like a TV, because another part that I had zero idea about, I feel like a true teacher now. I did something on a board and now I'm feeling self-conscious about it and asking you to not look at it. But another aspect of the story that I had no idea about was the central story through like the final 2 acts of the book, which is her television show. What about this remotely suggests a television show? That's really interesting. It was really fun to read about. This does not suggest that in the slightest. I feel like a villain. But no, I truly love these other book covers that are finally coming out after years. and still aren't getting as much publicity because they weren't original covers. I am trying to get the point across that this is a really good book about chemistry, about television, about being a single mother, about, spoiler alert, losing a partner. It touches on so many issues. I mean, most of it is like white feminist literature, but it's not a like gushy rom-com. And I don't think you need me telling you that, but I needed someone to tell me that. So I'm putting this out there. There is so much more here that is not being tapped into by this cover, and I'm sorry for judging a book by its cover, but when I finally read a book and it's that good and the cover is not, I just feel sorry. I've designed the yearbook cover for my high school 2 years in a row. I have an idea of what a book cover should be. I've read and looked into the importance of book covers. And obviously those are for yearbooks, so it's very different. But just know that this is coming from a place of appreciation for the art of graphic design. Now, just some general things about the book. I loved the rowing plotline. I think it's so cool, and it's pretty common when an author puts in something from their personal life into the story. It can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming when you're reading a book and it's supposed to be fiction and it just feels like you're reading about the author's life. But I still love it when artists can put part of their life into their writing. Another thing I loved about this book, this is something I loved about the book, but it might not be like a for everyone thing, is that it kind of read like I was watching a Wes Anderson film, and I don't know if that'll make sense to everyone, but because most of the dialogue is amongst like geniuses, it's very straightforward. Like, it's said without social cues sometimes, and I feel like that's something I notice when I'm watching something by Wes Anderson. That's just something that I noticed in the book. So if you think that interests you, maybe check it out. And I don't think it distracted from the book as a whole, so if you don't think that's something you're interested in, don't feel like you can't read it now. I loved that not every guy in Elizabeth's life was supposed to be a romantic interest, and I'll just leave you with that. I love that the author took chances to mention all the female chemists lost to history and just like the general public knowledge. Like, an example that I know from my biology class is Martha Chase. I did a presentation over her, and it's just like, why is the Hershey-Chase experiment talked so much about in class, but whenever Hershey received his Nobel Prize, he gave a full lecture and she wasn't even mentioned, so like, it probably still does happen all the time. But specifically in this time period, it was happening all the time, so it's cool that the author took the opportunity to speak on that through a character. It's just so many things about this book that I had no idea from looking at the cover would be mentioned in the story. And I'm glad I finally broke past that boundary and read it. If any book cover designer is watching this right now, know that I really appreciate whenever a book cover not only makes me want to read the book, but gives me a hint about what the book is about. I'm sure my opinion is really valid, and that I haven't made a fool out of myself at all through this video. Thank you for watching. I'm really glad I read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I suggest it to you, but I need to end this video so that I can go turn this into the library and not get charged a late fee.